Well, anyway, can I introduce Jawad Ahmad, who is an internationally known singer from Pakistan and the founding member and Central Committee member of the International Youth and Workers Movement. This is currently performing around Britain, and the film is going around Britain, and presumably you're speaking around Britain all at the same time.
Like my elder here, he's introduced me as a singer. So normally when I'm standing in front of the people or standing on stage, it is to sing for them. So today it's a little different, and I have to speak actually on behalf of all the poor people of the world, because the topic under discussion is social justice. In fact, I would like to use this opportunity to tell you a little about what is happening in Pakistan regarding the conditions of the work and situation of the working class. In Pakistan, we have a 60% workers base, which is directly linked with agriculture. It's an agriculture-based country. So there's a 60% workforce who are farmers or peasants. And they are not allowed by law to form a union. They have been stopped from forming a union, a trade union in Pakistan. And then about the rest of the workforce that we have, because we have a very small industry in Pakistan. So the industrial workers are in dearth, but still, they have to be in the unions by their, because human rights say that they should be in the unions. But only less than 2% people of the industrial workers and the service sector workers are unionized. Only less than 2%. 98% of the people in Pakistan, of the working class, is not even unionized. So in Pakistan, the minimum wage is 12,000 rupees, which amounts to
nearly 70 pounds. About 70 pounds.
70 pounds a month, in which people have to not only raise their families, but they have to, send their children to schools, to provide with the health facilities and all that stuff. So in the end, the picture that we get of the whole dismal situation is that people die because they don't have money to buy medicines. People just die because they are malnutrition. People are underpaid, people are underemployed, and a lot of Pakistani people are unemployed. So in a country like Pakistan, what we need to do right now, what we think we should be doing, is in the footsteps of what happened in England and in America, in all those developed capitalist countries who are actually ruling this world, ruling the global economy, who are controlling it, who are manipulating or monopolizing the whole global economy. But still, they have a system, a relatively better system of social justice in their countries because of the movements by the workers, the trade unions, because people stood up for their rights on gender, on racial equality, like she was, reading about, talking about, and women's rights, children's rights. There are so many of them. In Pakistan, there is no such thing. Nothing like that exists in Pakistan. That is why, because Pakistan is so poverty-ridden and so panic-stricken, right now, because everybody knows there's a lot of terrorism going on there. almost every day a bomb explodes there and a lot of people die. People in England and in America can't even think about that. I mean, only a small incident. Why small? Because it was on a very small scale as compared to what is happening in Pakistan, once on Iraq. Only 5,000 people died in 9/11 incident, and the whole of America was shaken. In Pakistan, it's happening all the time, and we are not even fighting our own war, as everybody knows. It's basically, what I feel is, it's basically the result of the hegemony of imperialism, of global economy, of capitalism basically. So people in Pakistan, they very easily become terrorists. They become, because they are already slaves to the capitalists, to the feudals. As I told you, there is a 60% peasant population there who are workers who are working in the field. So Pakistan is also a semi-feudal country. In fact, there are three systems running there. There is a tribal system, there is a feudal system, and there is a capitalist system. If you talk about the economy in general, it is, of course, we are living under capitalism because we have multinationals who are working in Pakistan, producing every sorts of products, household products, cosmetics. I mean, you just name the thing and you'll find it in Pakistan, but only a very small number of people can have the capacity to buy those things. But still, it's a very heavily populated country. It's in 180 million people, so they do get a lot of market for it's a big market for the multinationals. So the economy of Pakistan is such that multinationals have almost a 60% share in the economy, the whole economy of Pakistan. And then comes the army, Pakistan Army. It is another capitalist. They hold or they own the 25% share in economy, and only 15% are left, which is the Pakistani bourgeoisie. You know that we can't even call it bourgeoisie actually, because it's an underdeveloped country and it doesn't amount to anything. I think 15% people. So what they do is that they loot and they plunder and they take loans from banks. They don't return them back, and they exploit the working class as much as they can. There is no law there basically. I mean, you will find it on pieces of paper. I mean, there will be legislation, there will be law which will be read out in the courts, but actually it is not implemented anywhere. People, if they go to the police stations, they are actually threatened by the police officers not to register their cases. So people die in the hospitals all the time, like I told you. So this is the Pakistan that I'm coming from. I don't even know who you people are, because Bernard is a comrade. When we started this organization, International Youth and Workers Movement, we thought this word international had to be put there because we believe in the solidarity of the working classes of the whole world. We believe that the working class of the whole world is the same. Maybe the sweater that you're wearing or the shirt that this guy is wearing was made in Pakistan. Nobody knows. So they are actually producing goods for you, they are making clothes for you, they are doing so much for you, you don't even know. So it's an interconnected world basically. So if you don't even want to believe in the classical Marxism, like what we think that is still very, very valid, I mean, if you just try to understand the world through it, but even if you don't believe in it, but still this very well in this global world, the working class does not even know that what they are producing is being sent where and being sold where, in which part of this world. So we have used this word international. And then youth and workers, because in order to bring about a trade union movement in Pakistan, what we intend to do under the umbrella of International Youth and Workers Movement, which is a very, very mammoth and a very difficult task that we've taken up. We believe that in order to reach out to the working class so that they can rise up for their rights, so they can actually make a difference in Pakistan, so that this nation can become prosperous, we will have to organize the youth first and the students. Because everywhere in this world, if you look up in the history, look into the history, the past history of this world, we have seen student movements students leading these movements in the beginning. And that's where we think that they just come in very handy when we talk about a movement of the working class. So when we can organize the students there and the youth there, they will be like a bridge between the intellectuals, the people who actually have started this organization and who are very well known in the literary circles, and they are intellectuals very widely known in Pakistan, so that those students and those youth, they can they can act as a bridge between the working class and those people who are the members of the organization, basically. So this is how we intend to proceed. And I'm a singer, and most of the people in Pakistan know me. They recognize me by face. They've heard my songs. So I think I put myself in a very challenging and a very threatened kind of a position, because the state is very hostile towards the kind of aims that we have, the kind of goals that we have to somehow mobilize the masses and the working classes, and joining these two great historical forces together, the youth and the working class. So when I put my picture here on this, can I take this picture here, it's not because of self-projection, because I just do it because people know me, they can recognize my face, and then they want to read about it, whatever we've written there. So this will, in future, probably put a stop to whatever I've been doing till now. If you talk about my earning ground, basically, because I work with the multinationals, I work with institutions, I work with the middle class of Pakistan, which is very prosperous, as I've told you. They're only probably 15%, but they are very good. I mean, they have servants in their houses, even you people can't think of servants in your houses, it's very expensive here, but in Pakistan they come in plenty. So these people, they probably will not like it. So I feel that, what we are doing in Pakistan needs a lot of support from the peoples of the developed world, because what you are experiencing right now is recession, and recession has actually affected all of you. Except for a few rich people, everybody is affected. And I don't think that there's an easy way out of all this. And even if you just pull yourself out of this, it will be at the stake of all those billions of people living in the third world, in Africa and Asia and Eastern Europe, in Latin America. So people don't know, but this is the aftermath of somehow bouncing back in the developed world, and getting capitalism reinstalled, restored. So all these people, they actually suffer a lot just because you people become prosperous again. Like I've told you, this is the global economy that we are talking about. The economy is interconnected. Every country is interconnected. I mean, every country is connected with each other. So when I have come here today, I don't think I have to even talk about social justice today, because there's no social justice in Pakistan. And I think that all these people who are sitting with me here, they are far more knowledgeable than me. They're far more informed than I am. I'm just a singer. I've produced a film, a feature film, and I've done some music scores for movies, but apart from that, my knowledge base is very little. But what I have come here for is to seek for solidarity, especially amongst the trade unions working in Britain, because Britain has a history of very charged, very active trade unions, and they have actually made a difference in your lives also, as you know, the working class of this whole country. So we want to ask the trade unions to come and help us to build a trade union movement in Pakistan. That is what we intend to do. Being a socialist, I'm not saying that we are going to bring about a revolution there just because we are going to build a trade union movement there. But at least we will be able to organize the working class. We will be able to get them, put them in a bargaining position with the capitalists, with the feudals, with the tribal lords, and so that they can raise the minimum wage, they can have the old age benefits, which nobody has. And you know, in fact, 300 people died in a fire incident in a factory in Karachi. I think that was a year ago, and they were not paid, you know, the families were not paid, I mean, even, you know, a meager amount of money. They were, I'm like, people did not even feel for them. They were just like pieces of wood were burned in that fire. They were not human beings. So this is how, I mean, there's no what do you call, social security there, and so I'm here to appeal to you people. I don't know whether you belong to trade unions or are you just like me, just some people from the public, just from the masses in UK. But if there is somebody here who is from the trade unions, primarily this is what I've come here for, to form a bond with, to form a liaison with the trade unions here. I have heard, and I've actually talked to a few big wigs of the trade unions who are working here, and they say that they have a lot of funds like those, you know, which they give to people in the third world countries so that they can actually work on the working classes, and they want to make a difference. So we are trying to make a case here. We present it to them, and I'll tell you something. If this happens, this is the only road to prosperity for Pakistan. If the working class rises up for its rights, and if it does not happen, then the whole world will be affected, because if Pakistan is going to burn, the whole world will actually feel that fire, you know, that heat of that fire, because what is happening in Pakistan right now, we are going towards starting a civil war between the militants and the civilian population. It's going to happen very soon if we believe that if we don't actually start a big working class movement which paves the way for a prosperous Pakistan and a safe Pakistan for everybody around and for peoples of the developed world also. Thank you so much.